Hello, I'm Adam from True Faith. This is the post-match reaction, and we have beaten Burnley 2-1 against all odds at Turf Moor in one of the biggest games of the season. It seems that the 6 days out of 9 rest has done the lads well. And I mean, nobody saw that coming, did they? Absolutely nobody saw that. Certainly first half as well. We were pedestrian, we were dour. There was just no urgency, and you know, Burnley, you know, in complete contrast to the Spurs side that we played, Burnley looked hungry, and Burnley were on the front foot, and they wanted to affect and take the game to us, and it's exactly what they did. And you know, I mentioned in the preview, which is available to our Patreon subscribers every week before every game, and I mentioned about the burgeoning relationship between Chris Wood and Matej Vydra, which, you know, we saw again. You know, Clark was over on that right hand side, and we just didn't do enough to stop Woods. Fede Fernandez, I saw, was like pointing his finger to where Clark should have been, you know, trying to prevent Wood getting, but he let him on his left foot to the byline, pulled it back. Vydra's completely unmarked, and it was such a cheap goal, really, really cheap goal. And you just kind of sit there thinking, you know, we can't just rinse and repeat once we have a decent performance against a different side. Burnley are a completely different proposition to Spurs. Their defenders are going to deal with crosses much more competently than Spurs were, because Spurs defence were all over the shop, and we just couldn't get a foothold in that game. And towards the end of the first half, obviously there was the big incident. So I think it was Joe Linton was on the floor in the box, plays it to Gale, who was offside in the end after he did have a shot and he saved very well by the understudy goalkeeper Bailey Peacock Farrell. And it was only soon after that then Longstaff got booted in the face unceremoniously by James Tarkowski. Now, the VAR had a look at it and said it absolutely wasn't a penalty, as we all know, but the idea that wasn't dangerous play is absolutely ludicrous. I mean, Tarkowski's foot is above Longstaff's shoulders, but it's above James Tarkowski. His foot was high enough to kick himself in the head. That's how high it was. It wasn't like Longstaff was kind of stooping at hip level to get a head on that. He got booted in the face. That's a Stonewall penalty, and that's a free kick anywhere else on the pitch that you decide to pull it up. But in the box, absolutely not. What made that even more bizarre, that nothing was given for that, was that the same referee gave a high foot against Dwight McNeil around Longstaff again later on in the game, and that was absolutely fine. There was no hesitation. It's like, well, what is the difference between those two decisions? So obviously we went in at half-time a bit aggrieved that we didn't have a penalty. That's, you know, that's justified, but the entire performance of that first half didn't really warrant us complaining too much about not having the lead, because we didn't really trouble them. We didn't really do anything. So it's almost like the genius pre-match rallying cry of, yep, same as last week, lads, from Bruce. I imagine that's basically all that goes on in that dressing room. It didn't work. But what we did differently in this game, and I will give Bruce an iota of credit here, is that he didn't wait around like he usually does for us to be 2-0 down to make the substitutions. Bruce brought on proactively, after about 10 minutes of the first half, he brought on both Saint-Maximin and Wilson for Gale and Joe Linton, just hogged them off, got them straight on the pitch, and suddenly Saint-Maximin is getting busy and in amongst it, and within 5 minutes of them coming on, Saint-Maximin gets it down the right-hand side. Bit of trickery. Is he going to pull it back? Is he going to go right to the byline and you know, smash it across the face? There was enough bodies in that box for anything to have happened, pinball stuff. And he pulls it back to Jacob Murphy, who just hits such a measured, sweet strike through a host of bodies. And it just curls into the far corner. Keeper can't do a thing with it. Probably sees it late as well. It's just such a beautiful strike, and he deserves a massive amount of credit, Murphy, for finishing that. But yes, huge credit to Saint-Maximin for just coming on and, you know, showing that impetus, showing that directness that we're kind of missing a lot of in the first half, and have been missing. We missed quite a lot under Bruce's direction, but it didn't take long for us to then capitalise again. Again, Burnley were close to, you know, taking the lead again at 1-1. It really was frantic in both boxes in that second half for sure. And Shelvey picks it up, you know, halfway inside his own half. And instead of just laying it off wide, or what he normally does, or Hollywood a Hollywood ball that's not going to go to anybody in particular. He feeds in either needle stuff. It was an excellent pass forward. To see that, to be bold enough to try it. He sees Saint-Maximin in space. He's fed a ball through, beat the lines, and then the rest is history. Saint-Maximin, sort of similar to what he did against Burnley at St James's Park when I think Wilson knocked it down to him. He ran in, cut it across onto his right and fired into the corner. He did almost a very similar thing here, but on his left-hand side, just drove at the Burnley defence, and they just didn't know what to do. They couldn't handle it, and smashed it into that bottom corner for 2-1. And somehow we have held on till the very end, and we've taken all 3 points. And it basically came down to Bruce's old tactical plan of just give it to Saint-Maximin, lads. But it's worked, so I'm buzzing. Doesn't really matter about the performance because that was forgettable. Even basically before and after the 2 goals, completely forgettable performance. But the defence held strong. I thought they were very shaky in the first half. They held strong for the second half. Dubravka started to get a bit more confident with his crossing as well, catching his crosses as well. And in the end, we've beaten the side. So now we are now 6 points clear of Fulham with a game in hand. We've got 7 games left to save our season. Hope that the results that we get now better the results that Fulham get. We both have difficult fixtures ahead, but performance aside, let's forget that. What we needed, what we wanted, were all 3 points, and we have them. Huge, huge, huge win. Massive for Bruce, massive for the team, massive for the fan base. How are the lads? Come on. Stay tuned on YouTube. Just don't forget to subscribe. We've got loads of stuff. We've got the live reaction Q&A that's happening as I'm recording right now, so get involved in that or watch it later. And we've got the free match pod as well that's going to be popping up on YouTube. Check out Charlotte's show as well from basically every week. Great show. So stay with us on YouTube. Loads more content to come. I've been Adam. Bye, bye.